Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into TradeChat. My name is Panzer, and today's video is a vlog just to kind of catch you up and update you on what is going on going forward, because everything has just been insane. This last year was crazy. I traveled so much. I don't think I've ever traveled so much in my whole life, no less than 1 year. I did the Warcraft movie press junket. I did the red carpet event for the Warcraft movie. I hosted a panel for Blizzard at San Diego Comic-Con. I did some stuff for Intel at PAX West. I hosted the Warcraft Q&A at BlizzCon. I hosted the Wowhead party at BlizzCon. I went to GameStop Expo with my sister. This whole year has just been total insanity. And then it was like once all the work stuff fizzled down, it was the holidays, I had family stuff going on. Everything has just been completely insane, especially the last like 2-3 weeks on my channel with the holidays and being so busy and having people over and going places. I feel like my whole channel is just in a crazy place right now. So for those of you guys who have still been watching my videos, I really appreciate it, because I know that I could have probably done better. And it sucks to admit that. It sucks to say like, oh, I didn't put my best self out there, but I was just so busy, and I don't want to make excuses. I was exhausted. I was just in a place of sheer exhaustion, and I'm so excited that the holidays are over. I feel very rejuvenated with it being a whole new year, and I'm excited with what is coming and what we're doing going forward. I did want to address this. This isn't a very good transition, but just pretend there was a transition there. I did want to address a couple videos ago. I did a big mail unboxing of everything that I got from you guys at my P.O. box for Christmas, I guess, and the video quality wasn't as good as it normally is. The audio quality wasn't as good as it normally is, and I am so embarrassed and so sorry about that. I mean, it wasn't anything I did. I've always felt like my audio, and you'll notice today my audio probably sounds a little bit better because I do have a different audio setup now, which I think is working out well, I hope. But previously I was using my Blue Yeti, which if any of you guys know anything about that mic, it's a studio condenser mic. It's made to sit right in front of your face like this, and it's what a lot of people use for video game voiceovers and stuff like that. But because I didn't want the camera in frame, I had it kind of far away from me, so there was sort of an echoey reverb thing going on. And the camera that I'm using, my Sony Alpha 5100, and then I use the Blackmagic Video Assist to continuously record, does not have a 3.5mm jack for a microphone. So my options for what kind of mic I could use were so limited that I kind of convinced myself that I needed a new camera, that was the only way to solve this problem. And so I bought the Canon Rebel T6i video creator bundle. It came with the Rode Video Go mic, and I thought everything was going to be great. I bought the AC adapter for it so I didn't have to use batteries. And my camera that I'm using now, my Sony camera, focused so much faster. So right off the bat, I felt a little bit like, is this the right decision? I know this is a camera a lot of people use. It's supposed to be so great, but the autofocus on it wasn't very good. And I did not test the audio before I filmed a video, which I should have done. That was my bad, homies. Like, I should have known better. But there was some sort of feedback between the AC adapter and the microphone, and it was this horrible buzzing noise. There was very little I could do about it in post-production. Like, I took a lot of it out, but you could still hear it, that you can't take it all out, and it was extremely upsetting. And I don't know if I got a broken AC adapter or a broken microphone, or if it was just this fluke thing. I don't know, but using batteries that need to be changed every 30 minutes is not an optimal setup for somebody who films as much as I do. And the only reason I had gotten that camera was to improve the audio. So if the audio wasn't any better and the video wasn't any better, I was just horrified. So I had to upload that video because I felt like the people who sent me all that stuff deserved to see the unboxing and deserved to see the reactions, but I was so ashamed of the quality of it because it was just a terrible quality potato of a video. So I returned all of it. I returned the whole bundle, and I'm back to using my Sony Alpha 5100 as well as the Blackmagic Video Assist. And I'm currently using a Zoom H1 handheld recorder. I updated the firmware so that I can plug it into my computer and it doesn't need batteries, and it's essentially functioning as a microphone on my computer. So then I bought this, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have a lapel mic on. This is it's a Big Squid, maybe? I can't remember. I'll link it if I remember, but it was like 50 bucks. It wasn't super expensive, and I've got that plugged into the H1 so that it's getting its phantom power that it needs, and I think we're in good shape now. I feel like the audio is probably going to be better than it's been in the past. So hopefully this will be okay and you guys will agree. So that is what's going on with the camera situation. Now, as far as my channel going forward, I have this whole I don't want to say it's like a new plan or anything, but in the past, I've kind of, when I first started doing YouTube, and for a very long time, I sort of structured my show in a way that reminded me a lot of John Oliver's, like Last Week Tonight. So it was, I always put videos up on Tuesday. It did not matter what news happened when, I always put up videos on Tuesday. So if something happened Tuesday night and I'd already put up my video, you weren't getting a video until a week later about it. And then I started doing videos a little bit more frequently, but still it was often only one wow video a week. So a lot of times the news was being waited on. There wasn't much I could do to kind of speed the process up. And with the new algorithm changes on YouTube and everything, it became very apparent to me that that wasn't a good structure for YouTube videos anymore. I mean, granted, it worked in 2010 and 2012 and whatever, but it doesn't work anymore. So going forward, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos of when news happens. So rather than having videos with, a bunch of topics involving World of Warcraft, I'll have videos of like, this thing happened today. This is what's going on. And then of course, I'm still going to be doing like 39 things, and I'm going to be doing all sorts of stuff like that, because I feel like those are like my core meat and potatoes content, but I would also like to be putting up these smaller topical videos as news happens. And then I also would like to, I've said also a lot. I'm sure there's a word I could be using in place of that, a synonym, if you will, but that's what's coming to my brain right now. But the last thing I wanted to do as far as videos go is I've always wanted to have some sort of like long form podcast discussion, but I really want it to be quality. I don't want it to be, over Skype or Google Hangouts where you're going to get any sort of like, just I would like in my office, two people having conversations. So I talked to Nico about it, and I think we're going to be doing maybe a weekly podcast that will be topical. So it's not going to be on a whole range of different things. We might cover a bunch of different things, but there will be one bulky content, topic piece of content. You get what I'm saying? So we might do a podcast one week and it'll be about Widowmaker, and we'll talk about, Widowmaker's lore and maybe her abilities and things like that. And that's what we'll talk about. And then if there's something big coming in WoW, maybe we'll talk about WoW. It won't be a numbered, excuse me, I have like the hiccups or something. I don't even know. It's weird. My friend got me a lid for this giant mason jar, and it's like my favorite thing ever. And I feel like I drink water like a crazy person now. Anyways, back to what I was saying. It's not going to be like a numbered podcast where every week it's like, oh, number 85. It will be structured very much like a free-form YouTube video. So if you're searching for stuff about Widowmaker, you'll find our podcast about Widowmaker, as opposed to here's 100 topics where we all just kind of chit-chat for an hour. And they might not necessarily be an hour. They might be, but I would say they'd be anywhere from maybe 15 to 30 minutes. If something's really interesting, maybe it'll go on for an hour, but it'll be something that'll be much, I want it to be like on SoundCloud. I want it to be on iTunes. I want something that's like a very good audio quality podcast, but there'll also be a video version available for YouTube. So I'm really excited to get started with that. Then as far as non-video stuff, so wait, let me just recap. For video stuff, still going to be doing a lot of the content people really like the lists and the 39 things, patch recaps, stuff like that. But as far as like kind of news, I would like to do it more so as it happens. Even if that means like, oh, a new PTR build went up, this is what's included in it. I just think that the relevance of doing it the day that it happens is important. I'm also going to be doing this podcast thing with Nico. So I think that sums up all the video stuff. I hope so. Yeah. So I also, as far as St. Jude stuff goes, I am officially done with paintings. I right now have enough paintings for every single person to at least have a choice of 3. So even the very last person who's going to choose, they'll have, I think, 4 plus whatever one they choose. So I'm really happy with that right now. I'm getting the Google document all set up so that people can like claim their painting. And the way that will work, just to catch you up if you're a new subscriber, if you don't know what I'm talking about, last year for St. Jude Play Live, which took place in like May, June, I did a bunch of different perks and rewards, and some of them I have done, some of them I haven't done, some of them might not ever get done. I don't know. I'm doing my best. I'm only one person. But for anybody who donated $500 or more, I said that I would give them one of my paintings, one of my original paintings, which I thought I was only going to have to do like 4 or 5 because the threshold was so high with 500. I was wrong. I had to do a lot more than that. So it took me a really long time just to get caught up and have enough paintings. And now that I've caught up and had enough paintings, I'm terrified of how much it's going to cost me with shipping. So the way that it is going to work as far as priority goes is the highest donors will get first priority, and then of the higher donors, people who are willing to pay their own shipping, will get priority over people who are not willing to pay their own shipping, because paintings cost in the US between like $25 and $50 to ship, depending on where you live. Even the cheapest method is like $20 or $25, depending on how far it's going. And I have like a lot to ship, like 25 or 30, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. I know I'm there, but, and some of them are international, and those are probably going to be like no less than like $75 to ship. And truthfully, I can't afford it. Like I cannot afford to drop $1,000 on shipping. I can't, I'm sorry. So, I'll be sending out emails very soon in the next couple of days to everybody who did hit that 500 or higher, just asking for your country of residence, if you're willing to pay shipping or not, stuff like that, so that I can start getting the forms out for people to claim which paintings that they want, because I'm officially done with the paintings. I'm so excited. Then I talked about this. Oh, wait, before I move on, signatures. Anybody who donated, like, I think $25 got a signed photo, $50 got a personalized signed photo, etc. Those are about 30% done, 35% done. They're not half, but they're close to half. And, I'm talking a lot and I'm thirsty. I've made good progress on those, and once I get them all done, they'll all be sent out at once, because I'm going to have Nick send them out, and it doesn't make sense for him to do them in chunks. It's just kind of confusing. So those should be done, I would say by next week. Those should be done and out. So we're almost caught up on the St. Jude stuff, I know. The last thing I wanted to talk about regarding St. Jude is that I did a vlog a couple weeks ago talking about Draw My Life and how I wasn't super comfortable with doing a Draw My Life. And it was one of the perks. I had said if we hit 25,000, I would do a Draw My Life, because people have been asking for it for freaking ever. And then I kind of wrote it out and I filmed the audio, and I hated it. I hated it. I'm a very kind of private person, and I also feel like my life experiences aren't just mine. Like, I'm airing other people's dirty laundry. I'm telling about other people's history. It's not fair for me to make that decision for them, for that information to be public, particularly when I'm talking about family members who maybe have struggled with addiction or have had other issues like that have affected me, because I don't want to do a Draw My Life where I'm kind of lying or sugarcoating things, but I also don't think that it's right for me to tell those types of details. So I'm going to do a Draw My Life, I decided. And what I'm going to try to do is, for areas that are more negative, I'm just going to be sort of vague, and then I'm going to try to mention some of the positive things that I took out of that as a life experience, even if it means, this person's actions weren't the best, but it taught me kind of how not to act. Or, maybe this person had these flaws, but because of them, I'm much more open-minded to this kind of stuff like that. So I will be doing the Draw My Life. I definitely am going to do it, and it will be like my life, not like World of Warcraft or anything, but it's not going to get into super intimate details. And I will probably try to leave anything out that would identify anybody, like I don't want, like right now, for instance, I haven't talked to my mom in years. Like she has chosen not to speak to me. Those are her choices, and I'm sad that she made them, but I can't change anybody's mind, and I also can't put myself in harm's way, because that's not going to make anybody happy. But in the same sense, like, I don't know where I'm going to be with my relationship with her in 5 or 10 years. And, like, I don't want to make a video that is just, like, harping on all of her bad choices over the last couple decades when, like, people change. They do. I mean, she hasn't yet, but I sure hope she does. So I don't want to, like, make some form of, like, permanent thing that's embarrassing. Even if those choices are things that you should be embarrassed of, it doesn't matter. It's not my place to air that dirty laundry. And I think it's really mean. I just think it's mean. And I don't think it gives you guys a better perspective of who I am. I mean, a lot of people, everybody has their own stuff that goes on. It's not like I think anything that I went through is worse than what somebody else went through. And I'm sure in a lot of ways, what I went through was just peachy keen compared to what some people went through. So it's not like that. It's not like I feel like, oh, but it's so bad you wouldn't understand, or, oh, it's so bad that it's not like that. Like, I understand that, like, maybe it wasn't ideal, but it made me who I am today. And who knows, maybe if I had had some like perfect storybook childhood with a picket fence and a little dog, like, you never know, maybe I would have been like a little asshole. Like, maybe I would have grown up to be a dick. So yeah, TLDR, I am going to be doing a Draw My Life. As far as other stuff is going on in my life, I know a lot of people really enjoy hearing about, not enjoy, but I know it's helpful for some people to hear about, like, on a personal level, what's going on. As many of you guys know, I have ADHD. I was diagnosed by a doctor. I went through clinical testing. It was it was a journey getting there. And words are hard. I recently changed the dosage of my medication. I was taking Adderall XR once a day, and as a lot of people have noticed in videos, I lost a ton of weight. I didn't mean to. It wasn't on purpose. Adderall curbs your appetite, and when you're on an XR version, it means that every 3 or 4 hours, it kind of like gives you a dose. I know that's not medically the way it works. That's just how I understand it. And so I was like hungry in the morning, and then I was hungry late at night, but during the day I would eat nothing, and I lost a lot of weight. I lost like almost 20 pounds, which for someone my size, I wasn't fat or I wasn't overweight in any way, shape, or form to begin with. So we changed my medication, my doctor did, so that instead of taking 1 XR, I'm taking 2 IR a day, which means that not only am I getting a break essentially in the middle to eat, but it's also, I'm being medicated less. So previously it was lasting between like 12 and 14 hours, and now I'm only getting about 8 hours worth of medication. And I'm eating a good breakfast beforehand. I'm eating in that middle between the 2 pills, like when one wears off, I'm hungry, I eat, and then I take another one. And then by the time that one wears off, it's dinner time. So I'm back to eating like normal meals, and I feel like this is a lot healthier for me, although it's been a little bit of an adjustment, feeling when it wears off and stuff, like I'm not used to that. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever been on that sort of schedule for ADHD medication, but I would love to hear your experiences with it because it's been very different for me, but I think it's going to work better in the long run. And then I'm still seeing my therapist. I see her like once a week or once every 2 weeks, kind of depending on what's going on. I haven't seen her since like before Christmas because it's been so insane. It's been crazy. And then I was like really sick the day I was supposed to see her. There was like 2 weeks ago I was supposed to see her, and then I like overslept, and then my sleep schedule all screwed up, and then I was supposed to see her, and I wasn't going to get enough sleep, so I canceled because I was like, listen, I got to sleep, dude. I got to sleep. And then the last time I was going to see her, I never fails, I get sick like on or around Christmas, always. And I had this really terrible like tension headache migraine, but not like, oh, I've got a headache, let me take some Advil. Like I can't sit up straight because I'm like, my vertigo is so bad from this headache. So didn't go see her because I didn't think driving was a great option. But I am going to see her tomorrow. So I'm sure we'll talk about the internet and all the wonderful things that I'm exposed to. But what's interesting is when I went and did all my clinical testing for ADHD, I learned a lot about the way my brain works. Like, because they test, it's not like they're just like, oh, you do or do not have ADHD. They tell you all sorts of stuff. And I always struggled for a long time with like listening to people. It wasn't on purpose. Like I would interrupt and stuff, and I didn't really mean to. It was that I was like, there's like 4 lanes of traffic in my head at all times. I can't describe it any other way. And it was like when someone was talking, it was almost like I had to stop all 4 lanes of traffic in order to listen to them and like think about what they're saying and then reply to them. So in order to like actually have an active conversation, I like would have to interrupt because it took so much focus for me to listen that I wouldn't have anything to respond with. And I know that sounds ridiculous. I know it does. But it was just that my mind worked so quickly that I just really had a hard time conversationally if people weren't willing to like jump in and talk over me. It wasn't intentional, and it wasn't to be rude. It was just the way my brain works. And that's gotten a lot better since I've been on medication. But some of the other things that I learned about myself were that they do all these tests and they tell you where you kind of fit in the place, and some of them have to do with like reading comprehension and like how long you can recite back a story. There's lots of ones that are listening and visual and blah blah blah, but one of the tests that he did had to do with how quickly you receive information and process that information. And in that test, I tested in like the 99.99999 percentile of speed. So like my brain's RAM is crazy, which it's not like bragging because I can't do anything with that information. Like it's just how quickly I like intake things. So basically like the normal person will look at a computer screen, and if there's 25 images, they might notice 2 or 3 of them in their glance at it. Whereas my brain kind of picks up all of them, but then what do you do with that information? Nothing really, you know? But what's interesting about that to me is that I've always been someone who dreams very vividly. I not always have nightmares, but like I've always had very intense dreams, very vivid dreams, very like realistic, lifelike dreams. I've always remembered my dreams. And I dream every single night. It's not like my husband says he dreams like once every 4 months. It's like no big deal. But like I dream every single night. I mean, the dreams vary, but they're crazy. They make no sense at all usually. They're just all over the place. And I've always wondered, since I learned that about myself with the ADHD thing, if the reason that I have dreams that are that vivid and that crazy is because I take in so much more information than the average person does. Like, just when I look at things, it's not that I'm trying to, it's just that, you know, when you have a web page up and there's sidebar advertisements and there's this, that, and the other thing, like how much of that does my brain pick up and store? And, you know, they say that when you're dreaming, your brain is essentially defragmenting and getting rid of things that you don't need to keep in your long-term memory. Well, if I'm taking in significantly more than a normal person, it would make sense that I need to get rid of significantly more than a normal person, which would explain crazy dreams, right? So yeah, I think that's all I got, but you know what's weird is I was thinking, I have some mail to open too. Like I'm going to do that at the end. But I was thinking the other day about like what I wanted to be when I was a little kid and what I wanted to be growing up. Because, you know, now, is this what I am? Like, is this, because it's like you can't plan on doing World of Warcraft YouTube forever. Like that's just not the way it works. So I'm riding it out as long as I can. But I mean, it's just not a realistic life thing that goes on. But I got thinking the other day, like what would I actually want to do when I grow up? And it's funny because you guys hear me say all the time that I don't want to have children of my own and that I kind of joke and I'm like, oh, I don't like kids. But I always wanted to like write children's books or illustrate children's books. For a little while, I wanted to make kids video games. And I was talking to someone about the algorithm on YouTube the other day and how it's all broken and weird, and that I think a lot of the reason that the algorithm leans the way it does is because so many parents just hand their kids their phone to like watch a YouTube video, and then the videos just kind of play endlessly, and these kids aren't leaving comments, they're not liking, they're just watching the video, you know? And I would love to make kids videos. Like I know that sounds really weird, right? Because you hear me say like I don't really like kids, but it's not really that I don't like kids. I don't like a lot of parents. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. I actually like cool little kids or what's up. But I, as a little kid, watched a lot of TV. Like I was definitely a kid that was propped up in front of a TV, and I spent a lot of time watching TV my whole life until I was an adult, and now I barely ever watch TV. I'll watch like a show. Like I watch Game of Thrones, and I watch I watch The Walking Dead, and when it's on, I watch Mr. Robot. Like I watch like a show, but per week, how much TV I'm consuming is minimal, like 5 hours or less. Like I barely watch TV compared to a lot of people. But I feel like a lot of the reason that I ended up like the way I am is because I was put in front of good TV as a kid, you know? Like I watched PBS and Sesame Street and Arthur and all those types of shows until I was probably too old to be watching them. But things like that, they teach you not just lessons on like actual learning, like math and science and stuff like that, but they teach you about empathy and compassion and feelings and sharing and, you know, just being a nice little kid. And I think that there's a lot of TV and programs and YouTube videos and content that is made for children these days that is so like loud and aggressive and annoying and like, yes, I'm sure it shuts little kids up and I'm sure they sit there and watch it, but like it, like all of that stuff is sinking into their brain, you know? Like my mom told me this story once, and you know, it's sad that I don't have like a real relationship with her because I would love to learn more about this, but when I was a teenager, she told me that the reason that they were so strict about what I watched on TV and that they would always make sure I was watching like PBS or things that were like appropriate was because when I was like a little baby, like infant, she had me in a high chair and I was watching TV and I laughed at the TV, like something funny happened and I laughed, and she said it was like this crazy epiphany that like, oh my God, this little person like understood that was funny, like understood that, like, so at that point, she was always like hyper crazy about what I watched because she didn't want me to, you know, take in anything harmful, which is just a whole mess of irony, but that's a story for another time. But, you know, it got me to thinking, you know, if these parents are just handing their kids their phones and they're just letting them watch whatever and like not really paying attention to what they're watching because it's just keeping them quiet, like, wouldn't it be wonderful if there was some real like quality content, and like little kids love me. Like, it's bizarre. Like, I've never met anybody that little kids are all about the way they're all about me. And this was even before pink hair. It's like an aura about me. I always joke and say it's because they smell my fear, but I think it's because I don't talk to little kids like they're little kids. Like, I do a little bit, but not the way that a lot of people do. Like, I don't baby talk to kids, but I don't know. Little kids have always really liked me and been drawn to me. And I was thinking, like, one of the things I've always had a hard time with about YouTube as like a job or a career is that I don't feel like I'm making a difference. And that's why I put so much effort into when I do charity stuff, or even when I vlog, I try to really open up, because you never know like who might be experiencing something similar that could benefit from hearing about your method of handling it or your experiences going through the same thing. But, I just, there doesn't feel like there's a lot of difference that I can make making World of Warcraft videos. But if I did have, the opportunity to do something with children's books or even videos or something, even if all your videos did was make whatever your viewership is just like 1% nicer or 1% gentler or 1% kinder or more empathetic, like, the difference on the world to like be able to impact a generation like that, even if it had nothing to do with like education as far as like schooling and math and stuff like that, but even if just the things that they learned were respect and courtesy and decency, and it was just at a very young age, because I feel like that, 1, 2, 3, like toddler age kids, that's when they learn the difference between right and wrong. That's when they learn the difference between like, you don't hit your friends, or you don't steal, or you don't, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that makes them perfect from there on out, but I think that is such a highly impressionable age. And it's scary to me that the things that a lot of these kids are watching are so weird and loud and aggressive. And I don't know, I could really see myself like being happy in that sort of situation and feeling like I was really helping and making a difference in the world. Even though it would seem very minimal to other people, I just know that as a little kid who came from a kind of crappy home, I found a lot of solace and a lot of escape in TV. And I saw all these people that were kind and generous and loving and accepting and just wonderful. And like, it must feel amazing to be one of those people, it must feel awesome to be one of the people who is a puppeteer, a muppeteer on Sesame Street, or I don't know, I guess it sounds very sappy, and it's very bizarre coming from me because I don't really want kids, but that doesn't mean that the reason I don't want kids is complex. Number one, I feel like in order to be a really good parent, you have to be 100% devoted to your child. And I like my life the way it is right now. I like being able to travel and being able to do things and having freedom. And I'm sure that like having a child is wonderful and it is rewarding, but right now I don't want to give up the things that I have. I like what I have. I also know that like once you have a child, you've entered a completely different stage of your life where you are no longer your number one priority. And maybe this makes me sound selfish, but I think it's way more selfish to acknowledge those things about yourself and then bring a kid into the world anyways. And I just feel like it'd be so easy to screw a kid up. It'd be so easy because people are unfiltered and kids are so easily impressionable. And like, I don't want to be responsible for a kid who grows up and thinks that their parents were terrible. Like, I don't want to I don't want to have a kid and expose them to the horrors of the world in the way that it is right now. I don't want to have a kid and have them hanging out with everybody's little asshole kids who've been exposed to God knows what since they were way too young. I feel like maybe I would have wanted to have kids if I grew up in a different time, like if it was, the 70s. Maybe I would want to have a kid if it was the 70s, but the day and age we live in now, I feel like the only way that I would be okay with being a parent is if I was like one of those crazy, like homeschool, like never let your kid out of your sight type parents, because I wouldn't be comfortable. Like, I don't even like bringing my dog to places that I'm not familiar with. I can't imagine the stress of having a child. And like, not to mention that, but I have like horrible genetics. Like, my dad died of cancer. My mom has her own set of issues. And is it fair to like bring a kid into the world that's possibly going to have those issues? And then, I have my own issues. There are days when I don't want to get out of bed. I mean, I do, but sometimes I feel like I'm struggling to keep myself together. I don't know that I'm in a place where I should be keeping someone else together, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to have an impact on the future, which obviously is the next generation's little kids right now. So TLDR, I don't know. I might be interested in making kids content in the future. It certainly would not be on this channel or related to this or anything. It would be totally separate, but it was just something I had kind of been thinking about the other day because, you know, I'm no spring chicken. I know I look very young, but I'm going to be 29 this year. I need to figure out what the heck I want to do with my life. Although I think that's the secret to adulthood, is that nobody ever knows what the heck they're doing with their life. Maybe some people are better at making it look like they are, but nobody does. Nobody does. But yeah, okay, let me open up the stuff that was in my P.O. box, because of course, even though I went to my P.O. box before, it was like right after Christmas, I went on like the 26th or the 27th, there was more stuff like today. And it was big stuff. So I am sorry to those of you who didn't get included in that potato quality of a video, but you're going to have to put up with being in your own video that's less potato. So this one is from another country. I think all of these were from other countries, which was very surprising to me. What is this? What in the... Okay, what in the Sam hell is this? I just dropped this. It's just a box. Okay, it says, this is from Pete. It says, Dear Panzer, thank you very much for making all those great videos on YouTube. I found the ones that you do about WoW to be particularly interesting. They're all very... Oh gosh, you have nice handwriting, but I can't read it. They're all very well... They're all very well... I don't know what that word is. I'm sorry. He has really nice handwriting. Like, it's really nice. Like, I can't write that nice without lines, but I have just no idea what word that is. They're all very well something. Researched. Oh, that's what it is. It's research. They're all very well researched and you present the information in a compact and ordered way. Without them, I would have to spend a lot more time to get the same information, and I very well may have missed something. You mentioned in one of your videos that you really like notebooks and journals, so I thought that this would be an ideal present for you. I hope you like it. Thanks for everything, Peter. Well, I've seen these before, and I am astounded that this is what this, ouch. I just hit my nut. Have you guys ever done that? Been opening something and you rail your hand on, wow, this is gorgeous. Okay, so this is this is gorgeous. This is an enormous, I don't know if it's real leather or if it's faux leather, but it looks really nice. It's like a leather-bound, hand-bound journal. So it's got the lacing on the side. The whole back is embossed. This is beautiful. It's got two metal locks to open it up. Oh my God. And all the paper is recycled, it almost is homemade paper. This is beautiful. Oh my God, I'm not even gonna want to use it though. It's too pretty. Maybe I'll sketch in it. Oh my God, I love this. I can't believe you got this for me. This is so sweet. I do love notebooks. I have an issue with stationery, honestly. I have so much, and I'll write in something one time and then I feel like I've sullied it. It's honest, this is gorgeous. Thank you so much. It's honestly a problem because I never want to use a notebook twice. All right, the next thing is, all right, this one I think is from the US. Yeah, this one's from Washington. So let's go ahead and open this and see what's in here. And then I think there's only one more, but it's big. It's huge, actually. Wait, no, stop it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow, I'm so excited. What the fuck? What the heck? Where did you get this? Oh my God. 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 I can't get the tape open and I'm so excited. Ugh. Please. I'm so excited. Oh my God, is this real? Why are there two of them? No, there's only one. Okay, wow. Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm so excited. Okay, I am back, and this contained insanity. So, all right, so first of all, they sent me the big Deathwing pup, who I already have, but Nick was super jealous, so he's going to be excited because now Nick will have one. Then they sent me the White Reaper, which I did not have. My sister got me one for Christmas, but again, Nick's favorite is Reaper. He was jealous, so he's going to be excited. But the thing that I was freaking out about, the thing that I was oh my godding about, is this Deathwing that is golden. This is a Singapore exclusive pop. There are very few of them, and I don't have this one. And I believe this is the only Blizzard pop I don't have, because I have the Golden Illidan, I have the Infested Kerrigan, I have the Soldier and the Widowmaker that were exclusive. I have all of them except for this one. So you literally just completed my pop collection, and I'm unreasonably excited because I thought this one was never going to happen, to be totally honest. I had like emailed Blizzard and was like, hey, do you have one I could buy? Because on eBay they're crazy and I can't afford to justify that expenditure of money. Okay, adorable Christmas card with little snowmen on it. Really cute. And this says, Dear Panzer, thank you for all the work. You have beautiful handwriting too. Everybody has better handwriting than me, I swear to God. Dear Panzer, thank you for all the work you do to keep the WoW community updated on all the changes and things that surround WoW. Here are a few of the pops that you wanted. The gold one is the prize of the box. I know. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from John. Wow, thank you so much, dude. I don't even know how to like respond to that properly because like, don't get me wrong, these are super nice. And the husband is going to be very excited to add them to his collection because they're two that he's been trying to like steal from me. But this was a pop that I didn't think was happening. Like I did not think I was ever going to complete my collection. And I am so excited and thank you so much. I don't understand how people pay so close attention. You guys are amazing. Like, family members don't gift me as well as people on the internet do. It's like you guys all know me better than people that actually know me. It's, oh my God, I can't believe you got me that. I can't believe you got me that. That's insane. Okay, this next box is massive. Ugh, it's huge. And it's also international, so I don't want to know how much they paid to ship this because it was probably a lot. I'm cutting towards myself, but I'm being careful. All right, we're out of the woods, fam. We're out of the woods. Let me put this on the ground. Okay, I'm back again. As you can see, there was a metric butt ton of stuff in this box. It says, Dear Panzer, I have wandered Azeroth and beheld its bountiful bevy of beautiful beasts and tamed them. I'm a student of the arcane and a wielder of fire and ice. Like you, I am a conduit to the elemental plane and summon forth the might of electrical power to deal decisive damage to denizens. The guardians of earth and fire stand with me as allies on the battlefield, and my allies have had their gravest wounds withdrawn by my communion of the elements and water. So he plays a mage and a shaman. I have journeyed to Northrend and victoriously faced down the Lich King. I've dared to venture through the dark portal not once but twice and have dethroned the self-proclaimed Lord of Fire, Ragnaros. My travels have taken me to Kalimdor, the Eastern Kingdoms, and even the lands of the Pandarans, but the rare riches I've regarded in my riding pales to comparison of the trove of treasure from Toronto I have transported you today, though possibly a more accurate description of the contents could be a cache from Canada. This is amazing. This is really well written. I was introduced to your YouTube channel over a year ago via my son, since both myself and my wife enjoy the since then, both myself and my wife enjoy the informative and entertaining content that you produce. Hopefully you do not take offense, but she refers to you as Cutie Pie, and though she does not play WoW, she looks forward to updates on your channel. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Like you, I also lost my dad this year, and I won't belittle your loss by saying I know what you've gone through, but I will say I understand. I understand that when someone touches our lives, they create bonds, and some bonds are good and others are not so much good, but bonds, not so much, Hold on. I understand that I got a little emotional and lost my train of thought. I understand that when someone touches our lives, they create bonds. Some bonds are good and others not so much. Some bonds are strong and others less so. And I understand that when someone leaves our life who had a positive, strong bond, there's a hole. And in my case, and I suspect yours as well, a void. You seem to have been able to move past the loss, and I hope you reach a place where only fond memories of the bonds he has built with you. This is very emotional. I'm very, very sorry about your dad. My dad didn't actually die this year. He died the day before Father's Day in 2014. And the timing of all that was very weird because my birthday is June 7th and my sister was getting married on June 20th. So he died on like the 14th. And it was just in this like time period of like very busy, very chaotic. We're supposed to be celebrating and like this awful thing happens. Like my sister's bachelorette party was the same day as his funeral. And it was just it was really hard to get past. And I was very close with my dad. Like he was the shit. Like he was awesome. And it's not, I've lost other people. Like my grandma died and I was close to my grandma, but it's not the same thing. It was literally, I'm pretty sure my dad was like the closest person to me in my entire life, and they were just gone. Like he was just gone one day. And I think I'm also the type of person that's like, I'm normally very pessimistic, but I was in such denial that my dad was going to die. Like, I 100%, even when he was at his worst, even when like any person was who could clearly see he was terminal, I was like, no, he'll get better. Like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like, it wasn't even hope, it was denial. So I think that's why, like, when it happened, I was just not prepared. Like, I was just how do you prepare yourself anyways? But I'm really sorry about your dad. It's not the same for everybody. And I think for a long time, it really upset me when people would say, you know, like, I know what you're going through. I'd be like, you don't know anything. Like, it was very bitter. I was very bitter. And like, I have my moments of being very bitter. Like, it's weird because I don't mind sharing about my dad's illness. Like, he had thyroid cancer, and which is crazy because people don't die of thyroid cancer. He got thyroid cancer, and, he had surgery. Like, as soon as he was diagnosed, he had surgery like a week later. They did like cautious radiation, saying that like, oh, like, this is probably for nothing. Like, you'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. And radiation like severely harmed his quality of life. You know, like, he lost a lot of his taste buds. He lost a lot of teeth. And he also had broken his neck when he was younger, and also had to have his rotator cuff like completely removed because he tore it. And then after he got surgery, it got severely infected, like MRSA, gangrene, gonna die infected. So like, he had this crazy divot in his shoulder, and he had a plate in his neck from when he broke his neck. So the radiation rate on his throat also, like, he could no longer move his right arm more than about 15 degrees. He had to turn his whole body to turn. So going through that radiation was like a very horrible process for him. And he got better. Like, he got kind of. So wait, fast forward. So after he had the radiation, he was in remission, and he still had to go get like PET scans done every like 3 months or 6 months. And one of his PET scans came back that his cancer had metastasized and that it had spread, and it was like that quick. Like, it went from being dormant to metastasizing and being terrible. And that was when I went on King of the Nerds, because when it had metastasized at that point, they had said that there was nothing they could do. It already radiated it. It didn't help. Medullary thyroid cancer cannot be treated with chemo. So it was pretty much like, oh, we'll see what happens. And when on King of the Nerds, I was hoping that to win money where I could send him to like Cancer Center of America, where he could do like 4D radiation. Hold on, I gotta let my cat out. Which is like, it's like heat sensing. It like locks onto the tumor. So if you breathe or anything, it doesn't affect it. It's crazy. Did not win King of the Nerds. And what was crazy about that is the day that I got home from King of the Nerds, I talked to my dad on the phone, and he had another PET scan done, and all of his tumors that had metastasized were dying. So the doctor chalked it up to like remnants of radiation in his system, blah, blah, blah. So at that point, he was in remission again. So that was nuts. And then he spent the next 2 years getting healthy. Like, he was running every day, eating super healthy. He had cut all sugar out of his diet. I mean, he was really like, he felt like he'd been given the second chance, and he was going to utilize it. At this point, I don't know if you guys remember, I made a video asking if anybody had textbooks. That was because my dad got super interested in science and physics and math. He wanted to learn everything that he hadn't learned before. And he was out on a run one day, and he thought he had kidney stone, went to the doctors. Cancer everywhere, like everywhere. His kidneys, his liver, his esophagus, his brain, everywhere. Like, he went from fine, thinking he had a kidney stone, to like going back and finding out that this cancer was everywhere. And he had just had a PET scan like less than 6 months ago. Like, that's how quickly this came back. And unfortunately, the type of thyroid cancer he had, medullary thyroid cancer, that's not unheard of. It doesn't have a high survival rate, and by the point that happened, he had been admitted to Roswell Cancer Institute in Buffalo, New York, and he was too advanced for treatment. So they took samples of all of his tumors and sort of sent him home, and they gave him medication, but he opted not to take it because, I mean, there were tumors everywhere. It was not a matter of he wasn't going to live. Like, he wasn't going to live. And he was on hospice about 3 months later, and after going on hospice, then he died like a month later. Like, he wasn't around very long. So I think that part of what was so hard for me about it is that he got better twice. So I feel like there was a part of me that just felt like, oh, well, he'll just get better again. And, so that was kind of long and drawn out, because what I was trying to get to is that it's weird. When I talked about my dad having cancer in a recent video, I got really upset because people were like, what kind of cancer did he have? And it was like, I don't think that that's, like, it's okay if I want to share it or if someone else wants to share it, but I don't think it's a super sensitive question to ask someone, especially if you don't know them personally, or if you don't have, like, I guess, like, I could see it if you were a nurse or a doctor or something, but still, that's, like, curiosity, and I think that in any situation where you're talking about someone dying or any emotionally charged situation, like, curiosity should never be the reason that you're asking questions. It should be to, like, further discussion between the two of you of how you can help, I guess. I don't know. And when I said I thought that was kind of rude, a few people were like, it wasn't rude. Why do you think that's rude? And so maybe I'm alone in that thought, but I got really upset when people would ask me about it because I didn't, like, if I feel like talking about it, I'll talk about it. But you don't necessarily, like, always want to talk about stuff like that. So TLDR, that is the story of my dad having cancer. Anyways, you do amazing work with St. Jude Children's Hospital, which I understand helps kids with cancer, giving them paramount medical support without there ever being a charge. The Shriners Hospital in both Boston and Montreal do very similar work, but instead of cancer, they attend the wounds of children who have been burned and supply medical means for crippled children to walk. My dad was both a Mason and a Shriner and did so much work over the course of his life for these hospitals. In addition to the fundraising support he did for the hospitals, I remember him personally driving families from all over both countries to both Boston and Montreal several times, more than I can even count. And during those trips, he would often acquire pins along the way. Some of the pins I've included within the trove of treasure. Wow, that's really nice and personal. I can't believe you would send me those. I feel like I hope that you still have stuff. I hope that you didn't. Thank you. That's like, I also, okay, apparently this is going to turn into an emotional video, but like, I also didn't get anything of my dad's after he died. Neither did my sister. For whatever reason, like, we weren't given anything of his. And so it, like, oddly feels very special to me that you would, like, choose to give me something that was that meaningful from your dad. Oh, God. I tell myself I'm not going to cry every video. I want to thank you for in one of your videos you mentioned about taking pins and converting them to fridge magnets. I've inherited his pins, and instead of collecting dust in a box, they now adorn the side of my fridge, and I'm reminded fondly of his memory when I see them. Please enjoy the items contained within the trove, containing the Night Elf Wisp necklace. What self-respecting hoardie would be seen without one? And hopefully there are things Nico could put to good use too. You two seem to be a good balance for each other. You elevating him with your vibrant energy, and him keeping you grounded so you don't float away. I'm often left asking myself how you two met, and I'm sure that would make for an interesting tale to be told. Take care of each other, and if I don't see you on the Broken Isles or perhaps Hanamura, sincerely. And this says, Wolven Hellpaw, for Gilneas, for the Alliance, Loktar Ogar. And this says, it looks like it says Uncle Therasathel, which in Night Elf means may your troubles be diminished. So everything was going great until you were a Filthy Alliance. I'm kidding. It's funny because Nick and I met at a casino. Like, I worked like a swing shift job, so I got out of work at like 11:30 at night, and he worked at a casino which actually couldn't serve liquor. They have a liquor license now, but at the time they didn't. So a lot of the people my age who worked that shift would go hang out at the casino because it was 24 hours. It was always open, and we could get in. We didn't want to go to bars because we couldn't drink. What's the point? And he was like a bartender at the casino, and when they would give you Sprite, they would put a cherry in it so that you could tell the difference between like Sprite and ginger ale and whatever else they had. And I would always ask for like extra cherries because I liked them, and I was cheap and soda was free, and I didn't want, like, you know, whatever, you're 19. And he gave me like a whole cup of cherries with like just a splash of Sprite. And my friend was like, you should give him your number. He's cute. And I did. And he called me a couple days later, and I didn't recognize the number, and at the time I had been getting all these prank phone calls, so I picked up the phone and I was like nasty. I'm like, I don't know who you are, why you're calling me, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, this is Nick from the casino. And then like the whole tone changed. Oh, hi. And then he kind of just never left. We like hung out with some friends, and then now we're married. I don't know. We've been together for like almost a decade, going on a decade. This is our 10th year together, so he's cool. I guess it's funny because you said, you know, he keeps you grounded, and I feel like it's very much the opposite. Because while I am a very energetic person, by nature, I'm an optimist. I actually saw, I don't know if any of you guys watch Once Upon a Time. I'm going to go through this stuff shortly. I'm sorry. This is going to be a long video. This is just your life. I'm sorry. I don't know if any of you guys watch Once Upon a Time, but I watched a more recent-ish episode. I think it was like end of season 5. And Regina has this whole talk where she's talking about how she's in this horrible position in her life because she had succumbed to evil before. Her instinct and her nature was evil, but she now knows that's wrong. So she has to constantly fight her instincts and fight where her brain naturally goes because she's kind of cursed with like being bad, but knowing what's good. And I kind of feel, not to the evil extent, but I feel like I'm very much naturally a pessimist. I am cynical and I don't look on the bright side of things, and that's a choice I have to make. Like when I see myself and hear myself and think about what I'm thinking about, I have to say like, no, look at the bright side, look at the silver lining, cheer up, chin up, you know what I mean? Like it is not natural at all for me to be positive or optimistic, whereas Nick, his head is in the clouds. Everything is great, rose-colored sunglasses, like just nothing could possibly go wrong, and then a lot of times things do go wrong, and he's just like, how did this happen? So I feel like it's funny that you would say that you feel like I bring him up with my energy and he brings me down so that I don't float away, when like I feel like emotionally speaking, we're very much the opposite. Like he's so optimistic and happy and just easygoing, and it's like I have to try. Like I have to put a lot of effort into all of the things I do. And I'm not saying I'm like naturally miserable or anything like that. It's not really like that. It's just that, you know, when any sort of stress or conflict arises, my brain goes to the worst possible scenario always. Whereas Nick's, everything is just in passing and it'll be fine and it'll work out. And it's a quality about him that I'm envious of and that I absolutely adore, but it's not how my brain works at all. So I think that's really funny that you said that, because I mean you're right as far as energy goes. Like he is a sack of potatoes. But I think part of that is because I funnel so much of my energy into trying not to be a miserable blob or sack of potatoes. But let's check out what is in this, because it looks like a lot. I think the tin is probably gonna have the pins in it. So there's this cute little Santa tin, because I'm assuming this was for Christmas. Oh, and there's candy canes. There's all sorts of stuff in here. Okay, this says, long have the Kirin Tor Archmages, and, oh God, handwriting. Long have the Kirin Tor Archmages conjured to reforge fell? No. And I don't know what word that is. Something to reforge fellfire into artifacts before you. I wonder what... And it looks like it says like airboard. I can't. I feel like imbued. I don't know. Anyways, to ensure that it's surely from the Legion, it was, oh my God, something shipped to Dalaran through Santa's workshop. May it serve you well. I'm so sorry. Cursive handwriting, and I'm the worst. I also write in cursive. Cursive handwriting varies so much between people that sometimes I can't tell what the heck they're trying to say. So there's an adorable, huge 20-sided green dice in there, which is amazing. Then there's also, these are my favorite. I don't know why I like the ghettoest candy ever. They're called Rockets in Canada. They're called Smarties in America. And there's a bunch of candy canes. So thank you for all of that stuff. I really appreciate it. You know what other candy is really good and underrated? Cowtails. Have you ever had those? They're really good. Then there's also, I love these. There's stuff in them too. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh God, cursive writing. Contained in this tome is the essence of a night elf wisp and the cage to proudly display it to your horde allies. To awaken it, open up the white orb, remove the paper tab, and seal it. To put it back to sleep, replace the paper tab. It was made by something Smith at arcaneangel.com. P.S. The chain is also luminescent. I think that's what that says. I tried. I can't read other people's cursive writing. I'm garbage. It's my own fault. So this is in a really pretty bag. I can't believe all this stuff. I feel like you're my dad. Okay, so this is super pretty. Like just the card and stuff is super pretty. This is all the stuff that she makes on her, like, it's not an Etsy, it's like her own website. Genuine Fairy Bell. Oh, I hear it tingling. Okay. Whoa. Okay. This is cool. And does this one light up? Oh my God, this is amazing. No, this must be the one that you can use that's not lit up. And this one, I think this paper tab is supposed to be outside of this and it's not. Dang it. See, I can see the paper tab in there, but it's not sticking out the hole it's supposed to be sticking out of. This one jingles. Oh, baby, a triple. Come on. All right, I'm gonna screw with this later off camera, but I'm sure it's gonna work. I'm just sure of it. I just think it's a matter of I need to open it up and get that tab out. But so this is amazing. This is amazing. It's got like a little, it does look like a night elf wisp. And this one jingles, meaning I can never wear it on camera, so I'll have to get the glowy one working. But that is so pretty and so amazing. And I really appreciate that I get to like carry around a dead night elf because that's hilarious. I also love these books that are actually boxes. I have one on my desk right there. It's covered up, but I use them all the time. I think they're really fun. One says Rome and one says New York, which cracks me up because I was like born and raised in a town called Rome, New York. Oh, here's all the pins. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Well, I'm glad to hear that you had said that you kept a bunch and made them into fridge magnets. These are awesome, dude. These are so cool. So there's also a cool little dice in here that's got 3 dice inside of it. I don't know if you see that. And then there is a round dice, which is very cool. A round dice. I don't have one like that. And then there is a Shrine Circus pin. And this is Travel for Kids, Remesis Bob Whittemore Potente, 2007. This one is the Raymond Caution Ramses. That must have been what he worked for, is Ramses. I'm probably not saying that right, and I'm sullying everybody's memory. Oh, one pin was holding them all in. There is, oh, this one's Buffalo. I'm very close to that. That one looks like a Shriners Circus one because of the hat. Yep. These are awesome. I can't believe you sent me all of these. I feel like I don't deserve this. Thank you so much. I love these little ones. There's so many good ones. I don't know if I can, I just dropped one trying to show them to you. There's all different ones. There's a bunch. I can't believe you sent me all of these. I really appreciate that. I can't believe you sent me all of those. I feel like I've stolen from you. Like, I feel like, I hope that you have a lot of stuff of his. I hope that you didn't send me, like, any big portion of his stuff. Sorry for the noise. I know it's so loud. Oh, this is awesome. This is a black and white kind of like sketchbook final figure of Harley Quinn. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love her goggles. I love her goggles. Then there is, I saw a couple t-shirts. Let's see what the 2 t-shirts are. Fan Expo 2015, which was held in Canada. This one looks like it's my size. Maybe a small. Yeah, this one's a small. And this one's a large. So I'm going to assume that this one's for Nick. My hair is doing weird things on that side. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, and here's one in Nick's size. Fan Expo 2015 in Canada. All this stuff is from Canada. All right, I really want to open this one because there's a label that says Sombra inside. And I just feel like it's going to be clever, whatever it is. I had a knife. Do you guys remember that? What did I do with it? I have a different knife now. All right, this says Crystal Head Vodka is a brand of vodka manufactured in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. It was conceived and founded by actor Dan Aykroyd and artist John Alexander in 2007. The bottle is made by Bruni Glass in Italy and is kosher certified vodka made with pure Newfoundland water and filtered through 500 million-year-old crystals known as Herkimer diamonds. Oh, I know about Herkimer diamonds. The vodka is quadruple distilled and 7 times filtered with the final 3 filtrations through Herkimer diamond crystals. Interesting. The internet still thinks I'm an alcoholic. Got it. Got it. Oh, I've seen these before. I've seen these before. And the bottle looks like a skull. That's amazing. Dude, that's the coolest. That's so cool. All right, so the next thing I got is the Secret Wars issue #1 comic. And this is the variant edition. What's crazy about this is, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I love Spider-Man. He's like my favorite superhero. And then it's also got Stan Lee on the cover. I think that's Stan Lee anyways, but I don't want to open it. Maybe I'm going to Google about this later, but this is really cool. I have a whole stack of comic books that I've collected from like Loot Crate and various other places, and they're just sitting there until someday I decide to sell them or whatever, but that one's really cool. Did you know I liked Spider-Man? You must have. You must have. Otherwise, that would be random. Maybe it was random and it was just lucky. Everything's got so much tape on it. Oh, this is rad. This is a lunchbox with Kylo Ren on it, and it says that it premiered at the 2015 Fan Expo in Canada. So that makes it part of his Crate of Canada. Oh, everything is so cool. And I also I feel like I mentioned this in videos too, but I also have a problem with little boxes and containers. Like, I just want to put everything inside of everything else. Then we got a bunch of posters. We have Wanted, Dead or Alive, Jesse McCree. Then we have a DC Comics one. This is also from Fan Expo. And then we have another DC Comics one with a bunch of different characters on it. Wow, these are all so cool. I love the McCree poster. I love the McCree poster. Wow, okay, so all of this is a lot. This is a lot, and thank you so much. Like, I always expect to go to my P.O. box and there'd be nothing there, ever. Like, every time. That's what I expect to happen. And then this happens, and then I'm just so overwhelmed. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for the pops. Those were from Pete. And for the book. No, the book was from Pete. The pops were from, oh God, John. Pops were from John. Book was from Pete. Everything else was from, well, I think he just told me his name was Wolven. I don't know his real name. His name is Wolven. Maybe that is his real name. That'd be badass. All right, well, this video is extremely long. Thank you so much for bearing with me and watching this whole video. Thank you for all the stuff that you guys sent me, and thank you for all just being yourselves, really. I feel like I have a really awesome YouTube audience, and you guys are, I don't know, you guys are really awesome. Like, I've seen a lot of people, they have YouTube audiences that they're horrible to them. Like, not even just to other people, they're just horrible to them. And I'm so glad that that's not something I have to deal with. You guys are always amazing. So I am going to go pick up all the stuff. I have some videos to film for this week, but I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and I hope you had a wonderful holiday, and I hope you have a good 2017. I am going to go. I love you all. You're in my hearts. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Goodbye.